guys, how's it going? Today we are going to be pruning our raspberry plants out here in the garden. You can see that we still have snow on the ground and it's a little bit breezy today, but it's supposed to heat up to just about 50 degrees. Sun's out, so I figured why not? Let's just get this chore done. So we are going to walk through the steps on how to prune either June-bearing or everbearing type raspberries. When we are done with that, we're going to head into the greenhouse. Greenstalk sent us out something. It's in a box, I don't know what it is, and we will unbox that together in the warmth. So here's what we've got going on. We've got 3 rows of berries out here, but we're just going to tackle this one in the middle, which is fall gold everbearing raspberries, and then this one here, which is the heritage red everbearing raspberry. The 3rd row over there, they're blackberries, which we will tackle that a different day. And I want to say that these have been in the ground now for, I don't know, 3 years, possibly. Fall golds went in after heritage because I had a hard time getting my hands on that variety, and that's actually my favorite variety. They are a gold raspberry, so they don't make very appealing looking jam. I tried it, but the flavor of the fresh berries, like nothing compares to it. They're a very high sugar content raspberry. They're just delicious, and actually my whole family prefers that variety, but I keep the heritage because they are kind of the classic red raspberry and they do have a wonderful flavor and they make better looking jam. So June-bearing and everbearing raspberries share some similarities in just like the structure of the plant and how they grow. So the crown of the plant, which is just right below where the canes are, which are the branches that you see up above the ground, and then the roots. So the crown and the roots are the perennial part of the plant. And they produce canes that are biennial, so they live for only 2 years. First year canes are called primal canes. Second year canes are called floricanes. So the way the June-bearing, or sometimes they're called spring-bearing raspberries work is that their first year canes, the primal canes, only produce vegetative growth. So you won't get berries off of first year canes. You get your berries off the second year canes. So they're actually very easy to prune. So we're going to pretend right now that these are June-bearing, even though they're not. But what you look for when you go in to prune your June-bearing raspberries is if you find a cane that has clear evidence of berries from last year, you know that this was a second year cane, and you cut it all the way back to the bottom of the plant like that, because that cane is done if this was a June-bearing raspberry. And then you'll look through if there are canes like this one right here that did not produce berries last year. You would assume that this was the first year cane last year and that this year is going to be its second year, and you can expect some berries from it. So you leave those alone. If I had June-bearing, what I would probably do is go through my whole patch and cut out the second year canes. So all of those with the berry evidence on them. And I would leave all the other ones, all the cleaner looking canes. Once I was done removing the old canes, I'd go back through and thin out the ones that I want to keep to about 4 to 6 inches apart. That way you know that each cane is going to get proper light and airflow around it, which will make for a healthier plant and better berry production in the end. Your everbearing raspberries will grow a little bit differently. They still have a 2-year cane life, but the primal canes or first year canes will produce some berries, while the June-bearing type will not. What they do is they'll produce vegetative growth. They'll grow up during the season, and then toward the end of summer, beginning of fall, you'll get a little crop of berries at the very top of that cane. So take, for example, this one right here. You can see that this was a first year cane last year and it produced berries right at the top. Well, this cane, the second year, will produce more berries, but lower on down the cane. It will not produce any more berries at the top. So what you can do is you can come in and right above, like where there's a bud, I don't know if you can see that bud right there, I'll just cut the top off. This one can be discarded, and we can keep this one knowing that it will produce berries down here early in the season. Once it's done producing its early season berries, this cane is done. It will not produce any later on in the season that second year. But if you do that and top all of the first year canes of their berry growth and then let them bear in June, all the while they're producing berries in June, they're going to be creating new canes that will come up and then produce the berries on the top of the cane later on in the season. That's giving you 2 crops. I hope that made sense. So there are 2 ways of pruning. There's what I just showed you, where you can go in, cut the tops off the first year canes, let those produce the next year, and then let the new canes come up and produce in the fall, and then kind of just create that cycle. Or you can come in, which is the easier way, this is what I'm going to do this year, and just mow them all down to the ground, which will eliminate your June crop. But when you do that, the plants have so much energy that most of the time they produce a huge bumper crop in the fall. And it's usually more around the time when we're not so busy. When they're bearing raspberries early in the season, like in June, it's tough to get out here and get them harvested because we have so many other things going on. So knowing that our schedule is like that, I kind of favor, last year I did the whole selective pruning and we had 2 crops, but I think I'm going to like having a bigger crop later on, and it won't take us near as long to prune them because we're just doing the same thing with all the canes. So I'm basically just going to come in and I'm just going to cut them all back, all of them. And we'll clean up this whole bed. In fact, I brought my hedge trimmers out because I thought, well, maybe I would just mow them all down with my hedge trimmers and make really quick work of it. But I don't know. This is going to be pretty easy, I think, with pruners. You know, the other thing we're going to do as soon as I'm done pruning these, and I forgot to grab it, but I need to go grab my bag of berry tone. We're going to apply some fertilizer right now. I find that doing the pruning and fertilizing, even though there's nothing actively growing right now, clearly, it just helps me to not forget to fertilize later. And what I'll do is I'll sprinkle it on the soil surface and maybe even some soil acidifier because raspberries tend to like a bit more acidic than we are here. Anyway, by not working into the soil, that will allow the spring moisture. We get most of our moisture in spring and fall. That will allow that moisture to push it down into the soil more toward the root zone of the plants. And I think that will be a good thing. And that way that step is done as well. And let me tell you, the sun, especially when you're like down like this, it is so warm. It feels glorious. I just love being out here so much. And oh my word, we need to work on these grapes at some point here pretty soon. But let's just focus on the raspberries for now. Let's get after it. One down, one to go. And I had to shed a layer because it is warming up out here, but the ground is so soggy. Look at this. And there's just standing water right here. And yes, I could be wearing snow boots or whatever, but they hinder my ability to move quickly and I don't like that. So I'd rather just wear my tennis shoes and get through the project. Usually a lot happier that way. All right, let's tackle the second row. All right, we are done with the cutback and cleanup. Don't they look so much better? So this spring, we'll just see a bunch of new beautiful leafy growth come up. And then this next late summer and early fall, we'll be dealing with a nice big crop of berries. And look at the back of the gator. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the last thing that we're gonna do out here before we head back to the greenhouse is apply some of this berry tone right here. And I can't even remember what it says for established beds. I usually just sprinkle it in there. Established plants or garden beds. Established beds, you mix 5 pounds per 100 square feet into the top 4 inches of soil. And our beds are roughly 90 square feet. So we're just gonna use 1 4-pound bag on each one of the beds, and then the soil acidifier. And this one I just sprinkle in all around the plants. Berry tone and soil acidifier applied. It's looking so good, and I'm so looking forward to raspberries this year. Fresh raspberries, strawberries, and nectarines. Those are 3 of my favorite treats out of our garden. And you could at this point grab a rake or just your gloves and work that fertilizer and soil acidifier into the soil around the plants, like the top 4 inches of soil. But like I said before, I'm just gonna let the spring moisture do its work, and that will push it down toward the root zone of the plant. Saves us a little effort anyway. But it's looking really good out here. There's little twigs and stuff like that on the grass that'll get picked up by the mower, and we'll come through once the snow is all the way gone, and we're gonna need to rake up this area. We can get all the little bits that I didn't pick up today. And then maybe in the next few days we'll come out here and tackle these grapes, which you can see how much they grew. Do you remember how much I whacked these back last year? I mean, to within an inch of their lives. And I think they thanked us for it, for sure. I mean, they really are going for it, but they need some major training. And then we'll also take after our blackberries, which have been so incredibly productive. They even are pretty right now. I mean, if you come in here and look at the foliage, look at that. There's still even like a little bit of green. I mean, we've been down to 0 degrees, and we still have some pretties out here. But it's interesting once they lose some of their leaves. Look at all these blackberries that I missed. Like, they were just producing their heads off. I could hardly keep up. But they are super thick, and they just need some training, big time. But I think we've done enough slogging around in the slush today. So we're gonna head to the greenhouse and open up that Greenstalk box. Oh, hey Russell. What are you doing? You just waiting for us in here? What a good boy. All right, guys, so here's the box. I did not even know it was on its way. I have no idea what's in it. I'm guessing a Greenstalk vertical garden. Maybe one that looks like one of those 2 right back there. It's just such a glorious place in here right now. I mean, look at these. These are called Watch Up daffodils. So gorgeous. And these are topsy-turvy, which some of the apricot ones have come out since I last showed you. And it is warm in here, like warm. Maybe it's because I'm used to outside right now. No, it's 90. It's 90 degrees in here right now. So our seeds are coming up though without heat mats, our snapdragons. I don't know if we'll be able to see with this camera, but I mean, these seed trays are just loaded up. These are all the apple blossom variety. I don't know that I've seen many snowflake variety yet. There's a few in there. So I'll just give them a little bit more time. And oh, look at this vinca. Look at how beautiful this is, and it's blooming all the way down. Isn't that the most glorious thing? Oh, anyway, I've been looking forward to coming in here pretty much the entire time I was outside. I am happy to have that project done with the raspberries though. All right, let's get into it. I like their tape. That's cute. Fire starter. Oh, you guys. Oh, there's some fun spring colors in here. First off, so I think they've come up with a new lid. I just saw this on their Instagram. So you can put this on top of the water reservoir. Let me get you closer here so you can see it. In fact, you might even be able to see it better on this sweet color. So you can put this on top of the water reservoir to keep junk out of it and keep the leaf closed. And then when you want to water or, put, hose down in there, you just open it up and do that. And then you can pop it right back over. I think that is such a cute design. Oh. There's some stickers in the box, a whole baggie full of them. Setup instructions. But there's also this little baggie, and in the note that they sent, it said that these are seed covers, or seed, what they call them? Seed houses that attach to these pockets if you wanted to start seed. And I'll double check how these are supposed to go on, but I think They clip on like this, and they are a protector, like almost like a humidity dome, if I'm not mistaken, to protect your seeds and help them to come up a little bit easier and so they don't dry out super fast. But we will try that out once I get this all set up. So let me get this set up so we can take a better look at it. Whoa. We've got some of the spinner stands around here, which I will probably put this on. You put a water reservoir right here. This is, of course, filled with soil when you do that. And then the next one goes on. Okay, and then this is the very top where you put your water. If it doesn't look level, it's because the ground's not level in here. Need to get it on a stand. There we go. So then your lid pops on the top. So yeah, that was one of the things with the other ones, is that they do eventually, especially if you have them outside, they start collecting stuff. If there's wind, you might find some leaves in there or a little debris, and it hasn't been an issue, but it's nice to have this so you don't even have to look in there and clean anything out. Yeah, and I just looked on their website to verify, but these do attach like this, like that. And there it is. Seed house is installed. They sent 6, which covers 1 level. I don't know if they come as a set of 6, but there are 6 planting pockets in every level and 5 levels. So there's 30 planting pockets in the 5 tier. There's also a 7 tier. Do I have one over there? Yeah, the smaller pocket one. I'll walk over there in a second, because if there's one additional accessory that I would recommend, like really recommend, it's the spinning base. So both of ours in here have them, and that just gives you the ability to twist or rotate your planter around. And if you've got yours positioned, especially in a spot where maybe like one side, like maybe imagine this is a balcony and this is the wall, so it's only getting light from this side. Well, you know, you want all your plants to get equal light. So every day, if you've got them on a spinning base, you can go and rotate it a little bit, like a quarter turn. And that way you can ensure that all your plants end up getting equal amounts of light. And it's not a hard thing to do in terms of, you know, you don't have to muscle it around. It's very easy. So I don't know if the lilac comes in the 7 tier. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiers. And then this is another 5 tier right here in the color evergreen, which they also sent another lid right here. Let's try it. There we go. Nice. I can't believe I am needing to step outside right now. It's so hot in there. In fact, I might just leave this door open for a minute, just to let it have a little bit of fresh air. Everything's definitely loving it, that's for sure. Anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today. We'll link the stuff down below if you're interested in learning more, and I will probably plant this up in the next week or 2. I was just talking with my mom, and she's got a new load of herbs and some other flowers coming in, I think, next week, and then just load after load after load is going to start showing up. It's going to be so fun. Feels like it's beginning, and just getting out there and cutting stuff back and fertilizing, it just makes me feel very excited for what is to come very soon. And it's very evident with how much the snow is melting when we were out there. Anyway, I hope it was helpful just seeing the raspberries being cut back and just kind of talking through the different ways that you can do that. And I hope you guys are all having a great day. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.